And our last panel is Michael White, Jeanie Ruskin, I think, and Catherine OSullivan. I hope I'm right there as well. All right, I think we're going to go on a 3-minute clock for all of you. We are very late, but I want to thank you for staying. And whoever wants to go first on the panel amongst yourselves. Should go left to right? Yes, why don't you just put your microphone on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go first because I have a 4 o'clock appointment.
Okay.
But I do want to testify. So my name is Catherine OSullivan, and I'm a member of Save Inwood Library and also Inwood Preservation. And I'm here to testify on the New York Public Library's plans. Perhaps their latest master plan for the Central Research Library should be called the Central Library Plan 2. Because how can this plan move forward when a shroud of secrecy surrounds the stacks? The stacks are fundamental to the Central Research Library, and any refurbishment being considered must disclose to the public what is planned for them. I've been at their presentations, and we're told, well, several scenarios are being studied. But when asked what sort of scenarios, you get no answer. So that's on the Central Research Library plan. I feel if certain individuals among the trustees no longer hold the best interests of the New York Public Library as central to their function as trustee, perhaps it's time for them to step down. Real estate development and housing should not be concerns of a public library trustee. Now I get to the library dearest to my heart, and I've heard you speak about the Hunters Point Library, so I know it's dear to your heart. But the demolition plan for the Inwood branch of the New York Public Library is an example of trustees abandoning their role as protectors of our public library. In 1998, a $4.3 million renovation and expansion of our branch was undertaken. Tony Marks was blown away by the wonderful renovation. The much-loved library won a community award in 2016, and over 5,000 Inwood Library users object to this plan to sell the library to a developer for $1, demolish it, and replace it with an inferior space. Smaller, no room for expansion, and would require an upzoning because their request for a proposal said that the developer, the prospective developer, should assume an R8 zoning. Well, most of Inwood wants an R7 cap on zoning. So I don't know where the democratic process is in this. Let me see. I asked a member of the public library why Inwood Library was being targeted, and I was told because of the air rights. So, okay, air rights, sell the air rights. No problem there. But this is a perfectly good library. Fix the boiler, fix the leaks in the roof. It's fine. Inwood people love it. We don't want to lose it. And going on the timing, the delays, there's no way we're going to be without a library for 8 or 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll pick up on. Do I hit the button?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'm on now. Thanks, Catherine. My name is Jeanie Ruskin. I've been an Inwood resident for 36 plus years, so this is dear to my heart as well. I'm speaking in opposition to the proposed plan for the demolition and reconstruction of the Inwood Library. In 2016, Inwood Library was the only Manhattan library branch that won the NYC Neighborhood Library Award for libraries going above and beyond to provide exceptional services and programming for their communities. It's open 7 days a week. That's rare. Inwood's award-winning library serves people of all ages with programming that includes tutoring, homework help, English classes, story time, Spanish language computer and internet classes, workshops on immigration rights, free film screenings, and more. Scores of Inwood students count on Inwood's library to do their homework. They don't have computers or internet at home, and they're required to do their homework on a computer. Now, we've been told, and this has been documented, Inwood Library would be sold to a developer for $1. This is part of the public-private deals that are being worked here. Inwood Library would be torn down with no guarantee of any interim library or even library services during the demolition or reconstruction. This means no guaranteed library for 5 or more years. You know what I'm talking about. I've just heard lots of your reasons and experience there. Now, that's a lifetime in a student's history. 5 years is a student's lifetime. Why would it take 5 or more years? Because there's documented toxic brownfield contamination next door, which has probably migrated to the library site. That takes time to test and to clean up. The latest standard new building in Inwood is the TD Bank building. It took 3.5 years to build that, and it's only 2 stories high. They want to build something 14 stories high on the library site that would be luxury housing after they tear down the library. The proposed new library would be permanently capped at a size that's 20% smaller than its current size. And now, how does that serve the future of a growing community estimated to become possibly 14,000 more people if the expansion due to the rezoning goes through? There's no guarantee that any Inwood residents could get an apartment in this proposed building. This affordability is based on some AMI that is an average of Westchester County as well as other parts of the city, and it has no bearing on Inwood residents' actual incomes. In addition to which, it would be offered at on a lottery basis. So this is a displacement issue that also needs to be addressed. Now, the city owns dozens of empty and underused properties in northern Manhattan. They don't have to tear down our library to build housing. Thank you. Save Inwood Library campaign is a local campaign of Inwood neighbors. We've been very active. Thank you for the time.
Michael White, Citizens Defending Libraries. I'm glad to hear the testimony on the Inwood Library and endorse the complaints and objections to the Inwood Library being turned into a real estate deal. At this hearing, I've heard a lot of grinding down on Department of Design and Construction and the offering of ideas why it would be good to turn a lot of construction over to the libraries privately. But I'd like to remind everybody that one of those private deals was the Central Library Plan, which started out at $300 million price tag. It ultimately went to over $500 million, over $500 million. How much over that, we don't know because those figures were not released. Now, that was one of the things that was turned over to the library. And in fact, when we heard per square footage figures here, in 2013, this committee heard per square footage about that when it was still a lower price, and then it was multiples of what the DDC figures were for per square footage, which brings me to what I am prepared to testify, and testimony is up on the web, and that's where the Central Library Plan is today. The 42nd Street Research Library was designed around the Central Reference Library, around the stacks, as a book delivery system, first and foremost, very exquisitely designed around those stacks. The NYPL is now releasing plans that inverts that process, where they're designing the entire library, and then one day they're going to think about what they do with the stacks as an afterthought. Now, that includes very expensively putting in a new elevator system and a new staircase in a building that has very ample and circulation that has worked for over 100 years. How much will that cost? Well, we're talking millions. We're talking really big dollars compared to anything that's been talked about at this hearing today. How much will that cost? The architects said that they don't know dollar-wise or percentage-wise how big a part of that plan is. There's an overall commercialization aspect to what they're doing, taking, for instance, the map room and map room reading space and turning it into a cafe, nice pictures where you have wait staff and people looking at racks of wines on the wall and what they might choose to have. Did the trustees, they're out of control. Did the trustees question that? No. Their only question about putting in a cafe was whether it should be opened up to take over part of the public space of Bryant Park. There's more complete testimony before you. It's up on the web. You're talking about getting control of DDC. I think you need to get control over the construction process that the NYPL trustees are doing, and as a private sector project, excluding DDC.
I appreciate both of you staying so long and caring enough about libraries to testify here today. Appreciate your input. Thank you very much for being here today. And with that, we are adjourned.